Doll, or The Fiasco of the Sublime. A man of the 18th century who had received the mark of romanticism and moving moreover in a highly skeptical world, Stendhal provides the perfect example for an analysis of the profanation of the myth. Here was a man whom the need of passion tormented. He had discovered in his, quote, soul, end of quote, that is to say, in a yearning after the sublime, the void spoken of by Fichte, the insatiable call of the unknown woman that alone will fill this void. To love passionately would be indeed to live. He imagined quite sincerely that his longing was physical and trotted out his own little materialistic explanation of it. Had he been told that what he felt was but the impress of the myth upon his mind, a habit inherited from European culture, and in particular from literature, he would have roared with laughter, for he was convinced that mysticism and religion were dead. But he had to admit that his desire for passion, that even passion itself in the world he lived in, were frowned upon alike by reason and by the prevailing skepticism. Hence the need he experienced of justifying that need. Hence his famous treatise, De l'Amour, 1822. The opening words of the preface betray that it is a controversial work. Quote, although dealing with love, this little book is not a novel, and above all contains none of the distractions of a novel. It is simply an accurate and scientific treatise on a type of madness which is very rare in France. That's the end of the quote, and that quote was translated by Vivian Holland, London, 1928. And to this madness, Stendhal gives the name of, quote, passion love, end of quote. He declares that there are four kinds of love: passion love, sympathy love, sensual love, and vanity love. It is only the first which finds grace in his eyes. He accounts for it by means of the crystallization theory. I call crystallization that process of the mind which discovers fresh perfections in its beloved object at every turn of events. Thus, in the salt mines of Hallein, near Salzburg, if a bough stripped of its leaves is dropped into the depths of a disused working, it is picked out 2 or 3 months later, quote, with a vast number of spangled, shifting, glittering diamonds, end of quote. On this theory, falling in love is to endow a woman with perfection she does not in the least possess. And why do we do this? Because we need to love, and because the only thing that can be loved is beauty. In more simple language, crystallization is the process by which a man idealizes the woman he loves. It was Ortega y Gasset who first pointed out that this famous theory makes passionate love a mere error. Quote, not that passion is held to err often, end of quote, Ortega adds, quote, but that it is deemed to be in itself an error. Stendhal's case is pretty obvious. He did not truly love, and above all, he never was truly loved, end of quote. Tristan loved, Don Juan was loved, but a man who had nothing in common with the former except nostalgia and nothing in common with the latter except inconstancy was led to describe love as, quote, a soul sickness, end of quote, in the pure tradition of antiquity, except for his saying that in being afflicted with this sickness he felt happy. Thus, in De l'Amour, Stendhal was a doctor studying in his own person the symptoms and